I'm gonna do that. Hey, we're live. How do I put you in the middle? All right,
Hey.
we're here. Hey, there we go. We're back. We're live with the Savage Boston podcast here. I'm Scott with my co-host Brett on behalf of SavageBoston.com. Again, go check it out. New website, and we're here with our guy, who we're collabing with on our website as well. We got Joe from LFG Pats Pod. What's up, Joe? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It's awesome. Thank you for having me. And I really look forward to this official collaboration. Even though we've been collaborating for a long time, I love the cross promotion and love what you guys are putting out there.
Collab, dude. We're collabing.
Official. It's official.
We got a collab. Yeah. So yeah, man. This is we're doing something. We got minicamp, man. We got some shit going on. At least it's something. It's June 9th today at 8:40 at night. Now, I'm just psyched that we at least have something happening compared to what's going to be pretty much the dark ages for the next, I don't know, man. After this week, what's it going to be till July? I believe July 25th now is when we have Patriots, Patriots training camp begins. So yeah, man, it's the dark ages soon. So we got to soak it up, man. This week, you better learn something this week. Watch some football this week. Get soak it in because we're going to be in trouble. So I guess, Joe, any thoughts today on what you saw from minicamp stuff coming out and any initial takes before we dive into it?
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see Gonzo out there, right? He's saying all the right things. He showed up, right? That was the big thing. You got AJ Brown being AJ Brown against second and third string cornerbacks, but he's gonna be locked in this season. You can already tell this guy's over the moon for this team, for Drake May. So you love to see that. Hunter Henry's praising him. You got a beefed up Kyle Williams. I'm excited about Kyle Williams. I think a lot of people are. A lot of people are already out on him and think he's not on the same page as Drake May and blah, blah, blah. I think he could have a big year, and not big in, fantasy sense, but big for the team. He flashed enough last year where you can see the potential. And then, I think it just comes down to the what makes this team strong, right? Which is the defense. If Gabe Akers can get out there, I don't know what this mystery procedure is that he had.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's out there, but nothing doesn't sound like anything serious, and I hope that they keep him on ice until it gets serious. But I mean, this team is last year, right? It was a mess, right? What was it? The first OTA they had where Drake May threw like 4 interceptions and everyone's head exploded.
That was funny, man.
Oh, it was hysterical.
I mean, even I was you tweet something out and the people get pissed, and they're on the radio, they're like, he's washed. The 4 interception OTA. Certainly a lot better this year to begin than last year. But this Brett, any initial thoughts from the stuff you saw today before we dive into other stuff?
Yeah, I agree with Joe. I mean, the biggest thing right now is obviously Gonzalez showing up. I think a lot of us all expected him not to actually come into minicamp without that contract extension, knowing that he wants to do it. And, he talks to reporters and he continues to be a good soldier, say how he wants to be here long term. But I think the fact that he showed up just is a good indication that there's probably some potential positive movement in the fact that they're going to close the deal soon and they will extend him. A guy coming into a contract year, making $4 million when he's about to sign a contract, like making $80 million or something like that. It's one of those areas where he's going to want to make sure he gets that secure. So the fact that he's showing up to camp gives you a good sign. So that's probably the biggest takeaway I had from minicamp. And then, it's good to see some of the rookies getting into reps. So like Lomu signed, so he's out there for minicamp. But Yakis is obviously the big possible contributor on defense that we got as our edge guy, which we know we need edges. I want to see him out there. I want to see how they're working it. And as I said, it's just kind of curious to see what kind of action they do, how do they set guys up, where they slotting guys and stuff. So good early signs, but it's one of those things where it'll be interesting to see where they end up and like how they build up. But like I said, Gonzo's the biggest one for me.
Sounds like you're wrestling a bear in the background, Brett.
Yeah, the dogs
Oh,
decided
really,
to come down and start wrestling near me.
You're under attack. Yeah,
Let me
dude. So
let me move the dogs.
well, I know my dog's upstairs. But yeah, so I want to chat on Akis first. Again, I keep wanting to call him Yakis, man. I feel like that just rolls off the tongue, Yak, dude. But yeah, about Akis. So is that not weird to people? Is this not like getting like a little weird? And I'm not talking about the contract. Like that to me is normal. Like last year, Travion didn't sign for a long time. Wasn't playing. Like we understand the issues with contracts and the second round picks. They're trying to figure out guarantees, blah, blah, blah. Like I understand that with contracts. What I think is weird about Akis is the injury situation, which someone asked a pointed question today. Like, did you guys know about like that he would need a procedure? And Vrabel kind of like really quickly glossed over that. You know what I mean? Like I shared the whole exchange today, but Vrabel's like, yeah, well, we're just, people aren't here. They're not under contract. He just quickly blew it over, but it kind of sounded to me personally like Vrabel was not aware that he was going to need a surgery. That's what it sounded to me. And I know that's speculative. Like as not informed, nobody checked in with people today. Nobody was like, yeah, no, he knew. Like they're like, yeah, this is a little weird. So that's what everyone said. So I don't know. I find it odd. Do I think this is like going to be some sort of bust or something? No. Like hopefully he gets there soon. He can learn and grow with the team. But I don't understand kind of. I don't get this mystery injury situation and why we're being so why this feels so secretive to me. So Joe, why don't you give me just your kind of drawn out take here on Akis and this whole injury situation?
Yeah, I think when it comes down to it, is he taking a page out of Belichick's book, right? You don't have to say anything, so you don't, right? And this is what Belichick did for years when it came to injuries, right? He waited until he had to say something, and I don't mind it. I don't mind the sidestepping. Now let's see how long this goes, right? It's if it gets into July and he's sitting on the sideline and on the bike and doing all kinds of things, and he's not showing that he can go. That'll be different. But yeah, is it a knee scope? What is it? I'm interested to hear what that is. But he's not going to tell us anything. That's my take. But there's probably a reason for it, right? My guess.
Do you think Vrabel knew that this injury was? Do you think he knew he was going to need a procedure? Like that's the weirder part to me.
You got to think. You got to think that guys in the first and second round are well vetted like that. You have to think. But I don't know. I'm not familiar with the process. I'm not familiar with. First round picks for sure. You know every single thing about them. Second round picks, I don't know. It's a great question.
Thank you, Bryson, in the chat referring to Lomu as Goat Moo. Thank you, Bryson. Appreciate that. Brett, what do you think? Do you think there's some weird behavior here with this Akis injury situation?
Well, I'd have to imagine they would have scouted that and gotten the medicals. Like a second round pick is a highly valuable pick for them to go out and get. That there's no way they wouldn't know that this would be something that was unknown. We'll see. I mean, it's super early and it's really everyone's chomping at the bit for grabbing anything that can come out. I'm not going to make much out of it. I think it's one of those situations where, you want to get him in early. You want to get him working out, see what they can get out of him. But it's not the end of the world. This is the first round of mini camps. The guy's going to sign. Like, I'm not going to jump around and say this is something that, it's a bust. It's not a good pick. It's not going to work out off of this, right? There's other things you could consider, but to me, I'm fine. Like I said, I want to see him because as a fan, I want to see how he works and how he shows and getting some reps and just it'd be obviously great to see him out there on the field because being a high pick in the second round and what's likely going to have some impact this year, it'd be interesting to see how he performs out there. But when it comes to him with his knee and a little bit of vagueness, they're always vague. Like it's the continuous year of smoke. They're just going to blow smoke out. They never let anything out. So it's a bit of nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you. I'm sure. And people, I don't know, people are getting a little weird about the pick already. They're like, he's a bust, it's too high, wasted second rounder. Like, let's hold the horses a little here. Like, let's
Pump
let
the
the guy
brakes.
get into pads, man. Like, I think Akis is going to be a dog, man. Like, I'm into the pick. I like the pick. He's a strong kid, dude. So I'm excited to see that kid on the edge. I'm concerned about like the depth on the edge. Like, Harold Landry's not here. They're just like, they asked for Abel. He's like, yeah, he's basically like, he's a vet, whatever. But like, I don't know what kind of shape Harold Landry is going to come in at. Like, I don't know. Is he going to be a great player this year? Like, what's Landry going to be at? So, you don't know. And I think Landry is obviously end of the year injured and not doing well. But yeah, so to me, it's a, it is what it is. I don't think he's, we have a comment here from DW. Let me read this one here. Do you think that's why he went in the second round? What his injury history? I'm not sure. I think Akis got mocked in the late first, I think in one mock I saw, and I was surprised. Like, I always thought he was a second round guy. So I don't know, obviously I'm excited to see him go against Will Campbell this year. And I want to see what kind of player, what he looks like. But yeah, I never thought he was supposed to be a first rounder. That I don't know where that came from, but yeah, man, that's going to be a massive camp battle. I mean, how do you think Akis, Joe, how do you think Akis ends up looking against Will Campbell in camp this year? What do you think? Training camp battle.
He's not like the speediest of guys, which that seems to be what overwhelms Will Campbell to an extent. But he's got a great combination of both speed and power, and he's relentless. So I think he's going to give him fits early on. I think Will Campbell he's got a big chip on his shoulder, right? He has to. It's like now or never for him, because everyone's looking at him and he knows it. So I think it's going to be vicious when they get the full pads on and when they're actually going 11 on 11. I think it'll be great. It's going to be great for both of them because I think they'll both take some wins and losses, right? It's not going to be and Will Campbell has seen the best in the league, literally the best. Like, there's not many tackles that have played that gauntlet of DNs that we did towards the end of the year. So we've seen him at his worst, we've seen him at his best, and now we get him back fully healthy. I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what he can do alongside AVT, who is there today. And he was.
He played a little today, right?
He played a little today. He was in and out with Ben Brown. I was thinking about my article today. And it's going to be a little bit about the Josh McDaniels kind of history of his running game and what kind of backs he produced. Because right now, I'm wearing a Trevion Henderson jersey, if you didn't notice. But I think Trevion Henderson could have an explosive year. I really do. I think the sky's the limit for him if he can do the things that he needs to do, which is have some vision, have some patience, and obviously pass protect. Now, he may not need to have a lot of vision because this offensive line and this offense with Richie Gilliam sucks about Julian Hill, but we have plenty of run blocking tight ends at this point on the roster. You got, you got the fullback, you got Hunter Henry, you got Eli Raritan, you got who's the other UDFA that we signed? Forget the kid from Illinois. But you got him, and then you still have the fullback from last year, Brock Lampy. Who knows if they run him? Who knows if they run Gilliam at tight on the line? But I think that I honestly think they're gonna pound the rock. Like, I know we got AJ Brown, we might even get Stephon Diggs, but I really think they're gonna pound the rock this year. So Will Campbell, AVT, Jared Wilson, who he's from the center position and a phenomenal run blocker. He did it all. He was the best run blocking center in college football. So, I'm excited.
They're definitely going to run the ball. I mean, like that's a given. Vrabel wants to run the rock. That's what he did in Tennessee. Every single one of his moves has been indicating that he wants to run the rock. I mean, bringing in a fullback like Gilliam, continuing to draft in the offensive line, which is what you need to do, and then signing free agents in the offensive line. He's just focused on trying to build up to get stability because he knows that's what's going to help open things up with the offense. Now, the difference with where he's at with the Patriots versus where he's at in Tennessee is obviously Drake May. Like, he has a legit quarterback, whereas you have a run game to help complement an elite quarterback. It opens everything up. So, yeah, we're going to run the rock. We do have to show that we can do it on a consistent level. That is the biggest thing. We could not do that last year. obviously minicamp is never a good sign. I mean, they're not full pads. They're not hitting really. Like that's not going to be a good indication on what's going to be. But to me, it'll be interesting to see how they do the reps, where they go, and 100% agree. Henderson, like he has all the abilities to do it. It's just, has he grown as a running back to understand how to be patient, make sure he reads it and stop running into the ass of his blockers in front of him, and actually has the patience to hit the hole where the hole is there.
Brett hates how Henderson runs.
Oh my God, dude, how many times does he have to run into the ass of his outside lineman?
I know.
Just be like, what are you doing, dude?
No, what I was saying, we mentioned this the other pod, Joe. We were saying, like, again, if you had said before the season this dude was going to have, 900 yards rushing and like, I forget, he had a bunch of TDs, like 9 TDs or something like that. Like if you said that before the season, you'd be like, wow, it's a great season. Wow. You know what I mean? Like you'd be into it. 900 yards for a rookie back. So, but then you watch it and like, yeah, he's got the home run talent, but it's true, man. He just loves running into the ass of his lineman, and like his blocking was poor. So I loved, Mondre ended up coming back last year and playing really well, which was awesome. After his fumbling issues, we all doubted him. I doubted him. Everyone doubted him. And he turned out to be a way better all-purpose back at the end of the year. You know what I mean? Especially in the postseason. Like Henderson couldn't function in the postseason. No. I guess the entire offense couldn't really function in the postseason. So it's not like, it wasn't anything crazy. Let's talk about Booty for a second. So Booty, Booty was here today, which was interesting. And obviously happy he showed up. I think like we've been saying it for a while on here. If they could find a return for him, he'd be traded. You know what I mean? Like this is the problem. Like Booty was here. He played a bunch today. They said he played a bunch. He was lined up at X sometimes when AJ Brown was at Z. But yeah, man, like it's weird. Like, I don't know. Like, why can't they trade him? Like, why can't they find a home for him? Do you know what I mean? Like, you feel like at this point, you can't get a 5. Like, you have to like bring him in and make him work. Like, just get it. Why can't they find a home for him, Joe?
It really is astounding. Like, you look at someone like the Chiefs, right? I would be like throwing my 5th round pick. I'd be driving to Gillette and handing it to Kraft or Elliott Wolf in person. That offense is devout of real talent. I mean, you got Rashee Rice, who's in jail. Is he still in jail? Is he getting out soon? I don't know.
The Chiefs are a disaster, dude.
They're a complete disaster. Now they did a great job in their first round by replacing their corner with the number 6 overall corner. But when it comes to their offense, they're a mess. I mean, I do like Kenneth Walker from a fantasy standpoint. I'm actually kind of psyched on him. But as a team, like an actual team to get wins, I just don't see it. I don't see how they're going to do it again this year with an aging Kelsey and Rashee Rice. Is he going to? I don't know how they haven't talked about his suspension yet. That's wild to me. But yeah, there's plenty of teams that could use his services, right? Like to me, I don't see like how they don't give at least a 6th round pick, a pick swap, like a 5th and a 6th.
They're comfortable playing Tyquan Thornton, but they don't want Booty. Like is that
exactly?
Is that
exactly. Real? Yeah, exactly. The guy's wrister is, tiny wrist. The guy's an injury waiting to happen. Then you got Xavier Worthy, who runs into his own players and separates his shoulder. Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't really get it. They should be able to find a home for him somewhere. Brett, why do you think they can't get rid of Booty right now since they're trying to trade him?
My only guess is they're asking too much. And I think they're in a position where it doesn't hurt for them to ask for more. So like if they're shopping him and trying to get to a 4, which I don't think they're going to get, that would be the only reason. Because the way they look at it is, well, we'll try it for a 4 now. There's no reason why we have to push him out sooner than that. There's no obligation for it. Again, Booty is saying all the right things, which is good on him. But like ultimately, I think, yeah, they've been wanting to trade him for the last couple of years. Vrabel is a player's coach, and he recognizes the fact that you're kind of screwing the guy over if you don't give him an opportunity to go elsewhere. I know he's working in through reps right now, and they're again, this is minicamp. There's really not a ton going on here at the moment. But it's one of those things where you're going to want to get them in when they get OTAs going forward and they're getting more action in the offseason, like into the right environment for the player, as well as he starts to get disgruntled. Like he's saying the right things today, but eventually he's going to see where his opportunities are and how he's going to get pushed down further and further. And then it becomes a disgruntled guy and becomes an issue in the locker room, which again, I think Vrabel's going to manage through it, but just knowing Vrabel as being a player's coach, I think he's going to ultimately move him. So the only reason why I think, like I said, they haven't done it is they're probably asking too high because they don't have a huge need to push him. So they're going to see what bites. If anyone happens to be stupid and throw a fourth at it, perfect. If not, well, then they slowly drop the asking price, and then eventually if they had to cut him, they could cut him. I think if you could get him for a 6, great. I mean, you drafted him at 6, so that's really not that bad for what you were able to get out of him as an asset. But clearly, he's just not valued to the same level that we would want him to be valued at around the league.
Now, what do you think? Do you think they end up giving Pop Douglas a second contract?
No.
Can't.
You know what I mean? Like, I know he's down there, but like he seems to, if he could just figure out how to be like not fall down when he catches the ball, like as soon as he tries to get yak, he falls down on most of the plays. But like the kid can get open. Like if you can use him, you know what I mean? Like today, I guess even he's still out there. He caught a ton of balls today. He gets open. He's he's obviously a really shifty, fast player. I just wonder, like, maybe he's probably not going to take a cheap deal. I'd love to have him back on like a really, really team friendly deal, but it feels like another guy that's going to be out of here. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you could give him, I don't know what he would take. That's the thing. Like, I think you could try your best to keep him in here. Like people, I'm not even mentioning like Efton Chisholm until you see a legitimate play from him in training camp or something. Like I'm not, people getting ahead of themselves with that. But yeah, Pop Douglas, man, he certainly still looks explosive and he can catch the ball, man. I like how he's moving. Like he's the guy I would rather give a cheap second contract to. I think Booty is absolutely done. There's just way too many people in that room. Man, we just have to see what Kyle Williams looks like, which again is kind of the question for everybody was, what do you get from Kyle Williams? You think he takes the next leap, Joe?
I do. Mainly because he flashed quite a bit in year one. Like he showed us what he can do. It's year 2 in the Josh McDaniels system, which is notoriously difficult for younger players, for receivers in general, right? With all the option routes. He's too talented to fail, in my opinion. And at the very least, I think Josh McDaniels is going to learn how to scheme him open a little more. We said it a bunch of times last year in the game against the Bucs, right? Where it's like that perfect crosser. Like this guy is, if you put this guy and you give Drake May some time to block, he's going to get open. Like he's too fast. He really is. He ran 22.5 miles per hour at the Senior Bowl. So he's a burner, and like he's just too talented. And he put on some muscle. He put on like probably 10 pounds of muscle. He looks like more of an NFL player for sure. So yeah, I have high hopes for him. I think Pop Douglas, if you can get him in an incentive laden deal where you're giving him like $5 million guarantee, but he can get up to like $9 million, I think that's fair. And I think he's worth it. I do, because he does make big plays. The only thing I don't like about him is his size. Like he is a literal midget. He's 5'8" out there, and you can see it a lot of times when Drake May is trying to get him the ball. It's such a tight window because he doesn't really have the wingspan. So I don't love that, and that's where I do love Chisholm more, because Chisholm's a more heady player. He's a more like
he was slow, dude.
He's slow, but he gets into the spot, right? He knows the spot he needs to be in. He's a studious player.
Hold on, I want to rant about something for just 1 second. This is a rant coming at 23 minutes into the podcast. People need to stop calling fucking Efton Chisholm Julian Edelman. Like you need to.
It's ridiculous. You
have to stop.
Ridiculous.
Has anyone actually looked at the athleticism of Julian Edelman? Like, does anyone have any idea how athletic he was compared to Chisholm? Like, he ran a 4.4. Chisholm runs a 4.7. He had literally an elite, like 3-cone. Chisholm's not the same dude. He's not on the same plane athletically. I understand, like, he's still a good, decent sized kid, Chisholm. Maybe he's, he can figure out how to sit down in his own. He can run routes. But yes, I'm not I don't know, but the chat's going nuts about Chisholm. I can't. Bryson. What are Bryson's? I can't tell if he's pro or anti Chisholm in the chat.
You never
Sorry.
know. You never really know.
Anyway, I can't, dude. He literally like you couldn't be being completely serious. He could not be more different than Edelman. Just because he's a white person does not mean he's the same human being as fucking Julian Edelman. I'm sorry.
Edelman is
you, obviously, but just
no, absolutely. No. I would never call him. I think in the beginning it was very easy to say, and I always said Danny Amendola, right? And even Danny Amendola coming out of college was a phenom when it comes to like
better comp
short area.
Yeah, Amendola. That's a better comp.
Yeah, I was more on the Amendola side because I think that's kind of and who knows what his ceiling is, because Amendola was actually a pretty prolific player for the Rams when he started. He actually lit it up pretty good his first or second year. But he was amazing at punt returns. He was amazing at everything. And that's one thing that Efton Chisholm doesn't really do, isn't really separate himself from a special team standpoint. So he's got to really do it from the slot position. He's got to really dominate that. And I do think he has a possibility to beat out Pop, but Pop always looks good in camp. Last camp, he looked like he had this like next year. I'm like, oh, this guy's going to pop off this year. And he looked really good. And then he kind of went and, behind the scenes, he kind of like, and he'd come out, he'd have his big games, right? The Saints game where they called that one back, and he still had a touchdown, I think, too, there. He has some big moments and some big games. It's just, he's never going to be a focal point, but I think he can help us win some games. But yeah, it's going to come down to money. Some idiot team is going to probably pay him $10 million a year, right?
I mean, you could be right. Brett, do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, circling back to Kyle Williams, I want to see him progress. For me, it was understanding the offense and how Josh was utilizing him. There was a lot of times last year where you just look at it and clearly Drake and Kyle were out of sync, which leads me to be, this is a Kyle Williams issue because Drake didn't have that issue with a lot of other guys. So Kyle Williams, for whatever reason, struggled to like understand the offense, understand where he needed to be. But in the same breath, and like Joe mentioned, it's like, how is Josh utilizing him? Again, I mean, I said this with Henderson. I'd say the same thing with Williams. When you get dynamic talent like that, you just got to find a way to get that man into space. For whatever reason, like we just avoided screen passes to any level of degree. And when you look at guys like that, it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Why not throw a screen out there and try to make something move? Like it drove me crazy because you just never put those guys out into space so they could be lethal. And for a guy like Kyle Williams, who's clearly struggling to understand the offense, reading whether he's supposed to sit in the zone or if he's supposed to go, running out, like he just didn't understand it. And Josh did him no favors, which he's a rookie. I'm not asking for an OC to write the entire playbook around making sure Kyle Williams gets his. But at the same time, can you throw him a bone every now and again, knowing the fact that if you got him out in space, put him out in the flat, he'd probably be able to juke on one guy, and then who the hell knows, he's off to the races. So I'd like to see Josh be more creative with Kyle Williams. But at the same time, and we talked about it last year about the possibility of bringing in a Diggs and how that could potentially hurt Kyle Williams, which to my stance, like I don't really care. This is the professional football league. You got to be able to perform. I got to see him step up and be able to run the right offense, know the zones, understand how to be in sync with Drake. Like that has to click. And those are some of the things I'll be trying to look out for. I know we're talking about how he's looking with Dobbs early on, what's going on with AJ Brown. We got to get May in sync with Kyle Williams too. You need that extra option.
Yeah. I just want to read, this is kind of like depressing stat line for Pop Douglas. Do you want to know how many receptions and yards he had last year? You have any idea? You want to take a guess? Because I know, like, I didn't remember off the top of my head. Take a guess.
I'm gonna guess it's probably like very embarrassing, like high 30s with like 400 yards and I don't know 4 or 5 scores, something crazy like that.
Pretty darn on it, Joe. Pretty close. Only 31 receptions for 447 and 3 touchdowns.
I thought I was low. I thought I was
his
low.
Success percent was higher because obviously he's working with like an efficient Drake May. But that's not good. You know what I mean? And that's someone that like if he wants to get another contract or stay in this team, man, like he's got to find time, find reps. Like I don't know how he's gonna get more targets, but like it's not a great year. Between we had a few guys, and that's without the roster having AJ Brown and Romeo Dobbs. Like, think about that. And the Diggs stuff is still floating out there too. You know what I mean? Like, Diggs is not completely off the table. So, I just, like I said, in training camp, man, you're right. Every year he comes out and Pop Douglas looks like an absolute stud every year, dude, in training camp. And then it's like, it just either falls off or guys learn how to play against him or he doesn't know how to sit in zone. I don't know what it may be, but he always has some sort of weird fall off, you know?
Our wide receiver room, it was not good last year. Like, it just wasn't.
Yeah.
And it definitely showed up in the playoffs. We could not move the ball. We could not get any separation. You look at Super Bowl, like, we couldn't do anything, which is why we had to go out and get Dobbs and A.J. Brown, who were like a 1 and 2 option. You look at it and say you had a Super Bowl roster team and you didn't have a 1 and a 2. Like, it just shows how great an elite Drake May was to find people to get open, find ways to, like, throw it in tight windows and make things happen. But, yeah, I mean, he spread the ball around. You know, Mac Hollins was the second leading wide receiver behind Diggs, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe Henry. I'm not really sure about that. But from wide receiver room, he definitely was the second on that run. And you look at Hollins, like, he's a journeyman wide receiver. Like, our wide receiver room was not good last year. Adding A.J. Brown, adding Dobbs significantly improves it, but we need that third option. I think Hollins could be good and serviceable, but it can't just be those three. That's why I say we need Kyle Williams to elevate.
I think when it comes down to it, I think the biggest thing from that Super Bowl was just Will Campbell and a guy who never played guard playing guard. I think those are the two biggest things. Because I did look back. I mean, it's you know, it took me probably about 2 months, but I looked back and there were plays where people were open. So it's just, to me, it was just a relentless pass rush, which I think I have the Patriots winning opening night. I really think that this team lost, the Seahawks lost a lot of good players. We gained, like, we're definitely on the rise in there. Obviously it's difficult to come back after a Super Bowl win and that roster, right? It's kind of Eagles-esque, right? The Eagles had that, like, you know, massive fall off when they lost Milton Williams and who was it? Sweat. And there was another guy too that was really big. But again, I think this team is they're going to be based off this run game, and that's just going to open up everything else, guys. To me, that's what this team screams is they're going to run the ball, they're going to run play action, and all these guys that are running these crossers and these deep patterns. That's why I really like Kyle Williams this year, because what happens when you run the ball well, right? Everything else opens up. It becomes a lot easier. There's not option routes because your option is a guy screaming down the middle of the field because they think you're running it. So to me, it opens everything up and it makes everything more simple. And I think that's where these guys will shine. Like Kyle Williams to me is he's the most unique. We don't have like Trevion Henderson from the running back position, but he's the most unique receiver that we have outside of obviously AJ Brown, who's, you know, a potential Hall of Famer. So to me, it's like that combination of his deep ball ability and Kyle Williams to me screams, you know, I think we got a good one.
Yeah, I think I mean, first off, AJ Brown, I think is going to be probably a first ballot Hall of Famer when you look at it. You know, like I'm hoping if his career ends the next 2 to 3 years how we want it to go here, then yeah, you're looking at a guy who's literally a first ballot Hall of Fame player. Which, you know, again, like there's no reason to think him and Drake aren't gonna be tremendous. You know, like I think who was everyone saying no in the chat? I don't know why everyone's saying no. Are you saying no because I said he was going to be a first ballot Hall of Fame player? AJ
or because Drake Silva said Kyle Williams is getting as many snaps as me with the starting offense. He's so cooked, sadly.
Oh, that's funny. No, I basically this is more confusing with the chat doing the live stream sometimes if you're listening on the pod because I'm trying to figure out what everyone's yelling about while we're talking.
This is supposed to be a collaboration, Bryson, and Title Talk. Come on, man.
It's funny. Yeah, we need the full Title Talk collab too. We'll get everyone in here. But yeah, man. So yeah, I basically, dude, there's no reason to think AJ Brown's not gonna cook with Drake May this year. You know, and I think I understand the knee concerns. Like you're gonna tell me he can't work out the knee for 2 more years of high level play. Like I believe he can. I think the dude takes care of his body. He's a beast, man. He's a freak, and like. He's gonna, dude. Just watch him in training camp. Being dead serious, like watch him in training camp. He's gonna dominate people. I think you're just gonna be way more physical than you think he is, or I mean, unless that's exactly what people think he is. But like compared to watching who we've been watching at the wide receiver position for years here, you're gonna see him in camp and you'll be like, oh fuck, like that's like again, that's a dog. Like that's someone who you have to be scared of. That's somebody who you line up, you have to know where they are. Everyone complained all fucking year, dude, about in the postseason, like we didn't have any matchup, no one who you feared on the offense. The only one you feared was Drake May. You take out Drake May and then you don't have anybody else. And this year that's not true, man. Like you take out Drake May, you have AJ Brown there, and then even Dobbs to me, like they're sleeping on Dobbs. Like Dobbs is going to be a massive red zone target, huge body. So yeah, man, I think the offense is going to be improved. I don't know what it looks like in practice against the Seahawks week 1. I have no idea. But yeah, Joe's enjoying the chat.
Just laughing.
It's so funny. Anyway, so yeah, man, it's been hey, I'm just bummed out that we're gonna have like after this week, dude. It's like what 6 weeks, 6 straight weeks of no football, like nothing. That's ass, dude. Like there's nothing in there. Like the Red Sox are horrible too. It's not like we can just go pivot onto the Red Sox and have fun. Like
we'll get some stuff though, because you remember last year, right, when they broke away from this, they had the was it the North Carolina trip with the receivers, and so there's little nuggets here and there, but yeah, it's largely pretty dead. But there will be some stuff. It's just going to be random and on a whim,
People are going to be dying for football. Yeah. What do you think, Christian Gonzalez? We haven't touched on him yet. You think that deal gets done middle of training camp? Is that before training camp? When does he get paid?
It has to happen. I don't blame him for making a business decision. He's saying it's between my agent and the team, and it's going to stay that way. I don't think he's going to play until that gets done. So, and he, like I heard before, we're going to trade him. They're never going to. Kraft's not going to pay. He's not. I've heard he's not worth it from a fair amount of people too, which I just don't know what people are looking. I don't know what they're watching. But he's a freak athlete. I think it's because he's deceptively fast, and it's not even that he's fast, but he has closing speed. He's kind of like Stephon Gilmore. I've always compared him to Gilmore, where he has that you think he's beat, and he just last second just comes in and makes a play on the ball. And you just don't hear his name, right? And that's what people. It's like a left tackle. Like when you don't hear their name, they're doing good.
Yeah.
Well,
he definitely showed up. He definitely showed up in the biggest moments. I mean, he had some amazing breakups in the Super Bowl, that kept us within striking distance. He showed that he can be elite against one of the most elite wide receivers in the league with JSN. And he had plenty of times where he was the better player on the field. So he's going to get paid. It is interesting, though, like I said, the fact that he's out there. I mean, you got news coming out about Abdul Carter out in the Giants, and see what that ends up being for an injury. So there's nothing given. You can blow out your knee doing something stupid out here on the field. There's nothing given. And when you're a guy of his level of caliber of play and where he's trajecting out to be for a contract, he's going to get paid. He should get paid by the Patriots. I think it's a good sign that he's out there because that leads me to believe he's going to get paid. Because if they were distant, his agent would be like, you do not go out in that field at all. But the fact that he's just I'm letting my agent do the work. This is a business thing, and I'm going to come out here and play. That's him saying good soldier stuff. But that also, to me, is an indication that he's probably close to getting that contract. So they're probably going to deal with it after they break for minicamp, and then they'll go through and figure it out. So it'll be before they come back together in camp.
Another genuine question about that. Why do people keep theorizing? I think it's Tommy Curran was theorizing this amongst some radio dudes. They think for some reason he's going to get paid like a top wide receiver or something. He's coming in asking for $40 million. I've heard this take by other people suggesting he's looking for massive money, with a different position. And that doesn't make any fucking sense. They're not going to just randomly have him at Jamar Chase money Like, that's not what happens. Like, you got to set the market. Like, he can set the market, but the cornerback market's at like $31 million. Like, that's what you're looking at to set the market. You don't just jump to, like, you're not just going to give him a quarterback contract. Like, you got to set the market. So, like, I don't understand where Curran's getting that. I don't really get. I forget which radio show it was too this morning, but they were just theorizing about you're going to have to give some monster deal to Gonzo, like in a different stratosphere, and that's just not going to happen. You know, like it's not. Again, that's not how it goes. So again, if it was me, I'm looking probably 32, 33 million AAV, which would be the same as Witherspoon. If you give him 35 and use some massive bump, like that means you think he's the best fucking corner like ever. That means you think he's the best cornerback in football, better than Pat Surtain, better than Witherspoon. Like, you think he's the best. So all I'm saying is want him to get paid, want him to be extended, but he's not going to get some like insane deal. Like, the deal has to make sense. You don't just like get crazy money. Like him and Witherspoon, I just don't like how they're in cahoots with their same agency, bouncing the contract off one another. Like, who's getting the better deal, who has the better offer, like that, who's got more guaranteed money. Cause that's what's happening. You know, like they both are at CAA. So anyway, that's what I kind of feel. Any more thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I think that hits it on the head, right? It's like this is all an equation that's existed from the beginning of the NFL, right? These guys, it's all positional, it's all baked in. All the agents know it. They're not going to be looking for then what? They're going to hold out for an extra 3 or 4 million when no one else gets paid that. Like, it's just that you just don't see that happen like that. I mean, maybe with a quarterback position, right? But even then, it's pretty like within 1 or 2 million or 3 million. It's like you're not talking 5 million above the highest player. It doesn't happen.
I mean, you just look at the Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Like, they were going through the same thing, and Chase was like, I'm going to make more than Jefferson, right? And it was within margins. So this thing's going to be super close. I can't imagine Seattle or the Patriots are going to get stupid here. So, yeah, obviously having the same agent makes it a tricky dynamic because they're both kind of leaning on each other to see who can get the most leverage. Because if one guy is able to get up to 35, well, then the next guy is going to be, hey, I want 36. And that's just the way market setting guys go. They set the market this year and then it resets it next year. So, you know, we'll see. It's probably going to be in that 32, 33 range. I don't see it going higher than that.
Yeah, that would be insane. Someone in the chat just said like something like 38 million a year. That would be that's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? Like they got to keep it under wraps, man. That's why they have a fucking, that's why they Elliot Wolf's actually been doing they work out good contracts, to be honest. Like if you want to give Wolf and even Matt Groh like a compliment for all the times we shit on him, right? Like they work out pretty good contracts. I like the contracts they've been doing. They give teams good outs. They give the team good outs, team friendly deals. Like when's the last time the Patriots had a horrible, not team friendly contract you needed to get out from under? Do you guys remember? Like, can you guys recall one in the last couple of years?
Wolf. I was saying this the whole time with the whole Howie Roseman thing. They're like, oh, Howie's going to get a 2027 first, accept it. And it's like, guys, Wolf he's not on record to lose deals. He doesn't do it. He called Howie on his bluff, right? Howie wanted a first and a second in 2027. And he said, all right, go find it. Go get it from somebody else.
Bro, Howie wanted picks in 2026. He wanted a first in 2026.
Yeah.
In the combine, Wolf's like, no. Then he's like, I'll take a first in 2027. He goes, no. And he's like, go get it from someone else then. Then he's like, all right, can we do a first? And like, they play kick the can. Like, this is what people don't get. They have 2 full seasons. They trade A.J. Brown. He's not on their team, and they have no replacement for him for 2 full seasons before they get to use that pick. That hurts too. Like that, again, that hurts. Yeah. It's not like, so I get it. They still got a first, but like, it's not just some magic given that Howie really got him. Like, no, like this was the Rams were doing the same shit. The Rams almost made this deal and they backed out for a variety of reasons. They couldn't make it work. They didn't love the knee. The Devontae Adams thing fell through. There was a couple of reasons. Breer documented this whole fucking thing. But yeah, it wasn't just some slam dunk. Like the Myles Garrett trade was let's dump a ton of picks and give you Jared Verse. Do you know what I mean? Like, and Jared Verse is a really good player. He's not Myles Garrett, but he's a really good player. So, like, that to me is a pretty good deal for the Browns. Just the problem is the Browns will never make anything of it because they're the fucking Browns. You know what I mean? Like, that's the difference. So, yes, I don't think Howie was some, like, super genius, let me work one over. Like, you still have to explain to your fan base and sell the Eagles fan base on, hey, like, we're going to be okay. We're going to figure out a way to do this. They better hope Mekhi Lemon figures out how to be a good wide receiver. And they have like Dentarius was a Wicks or whatever. I forget who they. I don't give a fuck.
Tavion Wicks. They did get Eli. They got Eli Stowers as well. They have they have a pretty formidable offense. But here's the thing, Jalen Hurts sucks. I'm just gonna come out and say it. He's not a good quarterback. He is a 1 to 2 read at most quarterback, and then it breaks down and he has to run or just throws it away. I mean, there's a whole highlight series of him throwing terrible balls to AJ Brown. He's not a good quarterback. He's not in the long-term plans of that team. I guarantee it. I know a lot of Eagles fans that are just like they're done with him, and then they won't say it on Twitter, but there's plenty of actual people, not Twitter people, that will say that they're sick of Jalen Hurts. They're like, this guy's not the answer, and I agree.
Well, I actually think it's been somewhat widely reported even that this is a make or break year for Jalen Hurts. Like, I think even maybe Schefter, I forget who was talking about it, but the national guys were saying this is kind of make or break for Hurts. Mm-hmm. And then if he doesn't perform, man, like they're going to start looking for his replacement because he was awful last year. And, you know, again, the year he won the Super Bowl, he was good. And also they had maybe the best roster I've ever fucking seen. Like that 2014 or whatever it was, like that roster was unbelievable. It was
generational team. It's like ridiculous team.
They had disgusting talent everywhere. So, and obviously Hurts and Drake Silver just said in the chat, he threw another interception today over the middle. He can't throw over the middle. He's having a ton of problems. He can't throw over the fucking middle. And now they have Mekhi Lemon, who they claim wants to go over the middle. I don't know. I heard he doesn't look good and he's kind of injured again. And it's like, so, you know, we'll see what that team turns out to be. But, like, I'm happy where the Patriots are. I'm happy with where the offense is. I'm happy with how the quarterback is. I like the only thing I don't like right now is I don't know what the fuck's going on with the edge roll. We need our second rounder to play, to start participating, sign his contract. And I don't know, God knows what fucking surgery he had and why people don't want to talk about what surgery he had. Where's that info? Where's the reporters on that? I was trying to text people today. I'm like, what's going on? Do we have any idea? Everyone's like, yeah, no, it's weird. Like, that's what I got back. Like, no one, like, what's going on? Like, what surgery did he have? He just said, yeah, he had a procedure. Okay, what? Like, no one knows. Like, they're being so fucking tight with the health information. And again, that's fine. I just personally want to know. So
it's not a great feeling with that position. And then you turn to the linebacker position and look at the depth there too. So it's not great that we're starting this way, but it's early. This could be, you know, a maintenance thing. I mean, I wouldn't go that far because it was a procedure, but could be something that was, you know, give him a month and he'll be back, you know, half speed. And then, you know, he picks it up when it comes to preseason. And then by the season, he's okay. But it's not great feeling at a position that we needed him, right? We drafted him in the second round because we need him to play big snaps right away. Harold Landry, is he ready? What's his story? Who knows?
I think Landry is going to be fighting, dude. I don't know why. I just have like vibes like guys get older, coming off an injury. I just think he's going to be fighting. Like, they're going to keep him on the team. He'll probably have a spot. And I think his contract, I believe from when I looked it up, is too poor that they can't cut him.
Yeah.
And that would be one of those contracts that, again, that's a variable guy, the first guy they brought in that they paid, but like I'm pretty confident he doesn't have a great contract.
It's not great. It's a terrible. You can't trade him. Like, it's just not. His cap is 16.5 million.
What's his? How does that hurt them if they cut him right now?
It's a good question. I forget his post June 1st number.
Yeah, he has 2 more years on the deal, but he has his out. Oh man, his out is after 2027. Yeah, it's not a good deal, dude.
No, it sucks.
That's not a good deal.
They'll have 19 million in dead cap space.
Yeah, they can't cut him this year. They can cut him next year.
Yep.
It's a June 1st designated cut. 2027. It's $4 million of dead cap. So, just looking ahead, he'll probably be gone next year, but he'll be on the team this year, and you just hope he can go. I don't envision him being kind of the same guy, but let's see. Let's see how it plays out. And yeah, it's a good point, Bryson. He'll have a lesser role and benefit because of it. Yeah, probably true. Maybe he'll be able to stay healthier, have a little more explosion off the edge. Maybe you make him a specialist, just get him out there on third downs. I think there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, man. Well, why don't we start wrapping it? Just because we're 50 minutes in, and we'll keep you guys forever. Brett? Why don't you give me any final thoughts? Anything you want to go over, chat about? Anything important?
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think there's going to be too much coming out of minicamp. We talked about depth. This is one of the challenges when you're in a rebuilding process. The depth comes because you have successful draft picks, and we just haven't had a good run with draft picks other than the last year, obviously, and then we'll see what happens this year. Hopefully that all produce, and if we have the hit rate like we had last year, then we could be cooking. So we'll see. I think it's one of those things where, like I said, just get that Gonzo contract put in place. It's just the domino piece that helps line up everything else going forward from a longevity standpoint. So I'd really, really, really would like to see them get that one organized. Other than that, I mean, yeah, we're about to hit dead season, so enjoy it while it lasts, boys.
I know we're gonna have to get some some interviews lined up or some shit. We're gonna do some off color streams or something, something to keep people entertained for the 6 weeks of Dead Zone before. Because once camp ramps up, dude, we're all gonna get fucking just jazzed up. Everyone's just gonna be jazzed up. I gotta get down there for that first day. I just gotta be jazzed.
I'm gonna make it happen.
We'll do super collab podcast with 10 guys on one pod. We'll do super collab. Any final thoughts, Joe? Anything you want to get off your chest?
Yeah, no, it's more of I think I'm going to take this time to kind of do some research. I was saying earlier I want to look at the olden years Josh McDaniels offenses. What do they do with a fullback? What they do with this kind of personnel? And what do I see for this team from a running standpoint? I want to focus on that specifically. And then you think about AJ Brown, and everyone likes to compare him to Randy Moss. I think that's a little hyperbolic. Randy Moss, I think he's the best pure receiver to ever play the game, just from his pure speed, size, knowledge of the game standpoint. But here's the thing: if he does half of what Randy did when he was with the Patriots, maybe a little more than that, but I mean, 23 touchdowns, right? The guy was unguardable. You couldn't do anything against him. But I do think AJ Brown could have a monster year. The ability for, just think of what he did with Booty, right? And Booty is, he's an above average player at best. And he just elevated Booty. So what can he do with AJ Brown? I've been looking for this. I know, Savage, you've been saying this thing too for years. Yeah. AJ Brown, since he was in the draft, I was dying to get him. Just please draft him. They said he was on a visit. Him and Debo were on a visit. We talked about it a million times. And then he was available somehow with the Titans because they were not doing great. And I'm oh, please, we need this for Tom Brady, to keep Tom Brady around. Never happened. And so this is years in the making for him. But us as fans that watched him, we were all there too, and we were all thinking the same thing. So
I don't know though. I'm gonna have to go look back and see the first time that I said the Patriots need to trade for AJ Brown. I don't know how many years ago that was. Yeah. Obviously wanted the player for a long time. And just happy it became realistic. That he kind of shot his way out, I guess. Really. With personal conflicts with the quarterback, and clearly it was not an on the field issue. But the Eagles were enough of a headache to the Eagles. They wanted to be done with him. So, it is what it is. But obviously a player they will all have really high expectations for, and I think will be great. So, yeah, man, we got a couple days this week. We have, 2 more days of content, as they say. And then it's kaputs, man. We're going to be scraping the barrel. I'd have to go on vacation or something. It's a great time to start a website as soon as nothing happens. Be pumping out articles as no sports are going on. We'll just miserable Red Sox. So, All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. We appreciate it. Yeah, man, I'm going to keep trying to get the live streams going, even if we're just shooting the shit. I think it's good to keep consistent, and obviously we'll be ramping up as July comes in, man, and then we'll be off. I'm stoked. So yeah, we'll catch you guys later. Peace.